pleasing in your sight. We thank you, God, for every representative on the call. We ask that you bless us and keep us in your perfect will. We trust and obey you in our words and in our deed. We ask that you we thank you, God, for our leadership and our membership. We raise this prayer up to you. You get the glory and the honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I just would like to thank some folks behind the scene who made this possible. First of all, President Gentry and our chairman, Dr. Morgan, Christine Wade, Eleanor Jones, my dear support person, Brother Marvin March, Brother Michael Pickett, and my producer for today, none other than Brother Rodney Whitley, for helping me through this. We thank God for the opportunity for technology that connects us. And we're here today to talk about servant leadership, relationship, and pastoral care, most meaningful to us. And I wanted to just share with you some fundamental practices of leadership so that we all lead with the same vision, mind, and practices, and just goals. We want to be on the same plane with one another when we lead as a collective group of presidents and union chapter presidents. We just thank God for the opportunity to lead. But if we're all together and our vision is one, that strengthens our ability to do our work. So today we're going to go with the PowerPoint. So hopefully everyone has access to write any in your chat. If you have any questions, there's an area for you to put those questions in. Comments, if you just put that cursor on the bottom of your screen, it'll bring up that chat area for you to write any conversation or comments that you like to state. If you have a you need to raise your hand about something, that's available on the screen also. Or if you agree with something. Right now, it looks like we have about 17 or 18 participants, and we do honor everyone's time, so we don't want to take advantage of your time that you have put aside for today. So I'm going to ask my brother Rodney Whitley to put the PowerPoint up so that we can begin. Amen. Amen. So today we're talking about servant leadership, relationship, and pastoral care, presented to you by myself. And all of you know that this is under the guise of the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses. So we can now move to that second slide. Leadership. I like this comment from former President Ronald Reagan. It says, the greatest leader is not necessarily one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things, which is awesome, which is true. So we all have had some semblance and understanding of what leadership is. And we talk about three things today. Servant leadership is the ability of motivating people to achieve a specific goal. And we all do that every year by motivating our membership to participate in our daily activities, as well as get to convention, which can be a tumultuous process, but we do it. Relationship. Relationship is a social association or connection or affiliation between two or more people. And we know that convention is people generated. So when we are about our business of getting to convention, we are in a relationship mode. We have formed relationships with one another over the years. We get to see family, friends, making new friends, making new relationships that strengthens the body. And we look forward to those times that we share together. Pastoral care, providing emotional support, spiritual support. Now you would say, I'm not a pastor, but we all recognize that this job that we do in getting our membership to convention is a ministry. And we are responsible for the spiritual support and care of our members. So we're talking in that vein today. Pastoral care, providing the emotional support to our membership as well as ourselves. Because to lead and to guide, we have to be secure in our relationship with one another and with God in our position of service. So we can now move to that next screen. Thank you. The leading style that we're talking about is servant leadership. And the philosophy that goes with that is that the main goal is to serve. The main goal is to serve. I'm getting some things up on my screen that should not be there. There's a blank thing in the front of my screen. I'm not sure what that is. And we learn to make the sacrifices for others. The person who coined the phrase of servant leadership was a former CEO, Robert K. Greenleaf. He was a former CEO of AT&T, and he understood that even in business, to make sure that we can do what we need to do, we need to understand that this is a responsibility that works well when people feel a part of and feel good about their responsibilities. And it places the goal before the role, which is really important in what we do. Many times our role takes a back seat in what our end game or what our end goal should be. And we understand the importance of sacrifices. And the servant leadership style enables others to grow. In other words, we don't have the system of thinking where we're at the forefront, we're going to stay there. We don't understand or support the idea of passing the mantle on to others. It is very important that ministry leaders know that in order for us to stay solvent, we have to have people in position to move in should we move on. It doesn't mean that we have to pass on, but sometimes we have given a responsibility all that we had, and it's now time for someone to pick up the mantle and to move on and move forward with growing the vision and the path of the ministry that we're working on. So the leader exists to serve the people, not vice versa. And we have seen in times when those types of leaders, that dictatorship style that takes the place of leadership, even in our ministry, we see it all the time in government. But you have worked with those individuals who won't let you have a say or a role in any of the responsibilities. They want to do all and be all at the forefront. I'm here to tell you that's a quick way to burn out. Anytime you do things that is people generated, you have to include people, and people must feel that they have buy-in into the idea and the vision and the plan. Great leaders create more great leaders. You know for yourself, the reason why you're probably sitting in a position of leadership is someone saw something special in you. You had a quality that showed forth that they wanted to bring you out and to give you the opportunity to serve. That is someone passing the mantle on to you and putting the goal before the role, not their own selfish desires. So leadership style is servant leadership. We should all be practicing servant leadership. Next screen, please. Successful leaders have a direct correlation with positive relationships. Success is not how high you have climbed, but how you have made a positive difference to the world. We understand that we would not be here had it not been for someone else. We're standing on the shoulders of someone else. We all understand that the way that the Dorsey family evolved was, it started with a little man from Villa Rica, Georgia, and he passed on, but the mantle passed on to Bishop Kenneth H. Moles. We are all connected. And then finally today, Dr. Maribeth Gentry. The cycle of leadership is connecting. We connect with one another. It should not be that anyone is at the forefront and not understand that the direct correlation has a positive relationship. It would have been very difficult for President Gentry to move into her role had her relationship not been strong with Bishop Moles. They had a connection. They had an understanding. They had a positive relationship. Anytime you try to build something and the person who is handing you the next step has not given you the support that you need, has not given you the leadership guidance that you need, it is a deterrent. It is not a support mechanism. It deters you from going forward. Next screen, please. Relationship in leadership requires us to connect with membership or participants, known or unknown. You're going to have to broaden your horizons. It makes you step outside of your comfort zone. You have to inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more. Then you are an excellent leader. Then you want to support their goals. You want to support their visions, and you're not afraid of young people coming. Anything that does not have youth in it does not have a survival rate. So we have to understand that when we connect and form these relationships, they stabilize this. They stabilize the convention and they stabilize your chapter. Many of our chapters, because of age, are dwindling because of age that has taken on and where people are not as active as they used to be. So that makes that availability or that chapter become a little dormant. You don't have to remain dormant because you're older. You need to invite other membership, other people to come into your area and be a part of your chapter or union. There are so many choirs and young people who want to be a part of the convention, but they don't know the start. They don't know how to start. They don't know where to start. Invitation is the best way. Collaboration is the best way. So we create a legacy that inspires people to dream, and we've seen the remnants of that in Jeffrey Golden and many others. In the Claiborne family, you see how that has systematically just bounced from one member of the family to the next. They have strengthened each other, and then they come to the convention and embolden other young people. So you understand that that connection that has taken place has inspired others to be a part of what we do. But they all started in a local chapter. They all had a foundation in a chapter that strengthened and encouraged people, young people, age having no factor. And one thing about it, there is no generation gap in heaven. We all get there the same way, and there will be no seclusion or separate places for individuals to sit based on their age, race, or creed. We're going to all go the same way, but we want to be able to fellowship together and understand that we are connected. Ministry is a connecting entity. It requires you to reach out further than yourself. Music is connecting. How can we be a singing entity and we don't connect with other people? You'd be surprised. I remember listening to Reverend James Cleveland, and he would always say, the best singers are in the audience. You have people in the audience who don't participate because they have not been given the opportunity or feel comfortable or being invited. So we want to break that barrier or break that trend. So we can now move to the next screen. Thank you. Developing relationships have become difficult. Now we're doing texting and emails. We have all the social media outlets. The ideals of the iPhone and the iPad has kind of like not strengthened our ability to talk to one another. It has put a wall up against us. And so we want to make sure that we remove any obstacle that creates a problem from us creating. So we just understand that it is not an I world. This business that we're in, this ministry that we're in is not about I. It is a we factor, a us factor. And when you factor that into what we do, you will not hinder people, you will engage people. So successful leader has to be responsible, and developing relationships are difficult because of conversations limited. Everybody's texting, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to text. But in order to reach people, you have to go outside of that area. In order to reach people, you have to, sometimes social media works, but sometimes you have to pick up that old telephone and connect with them and allow people to feel and not have distractions that create fear and confidence that you have the ability to reach others. You have the ability within you to do more. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So we understand the necessity of that, and we understand the value of that. And your value, what you do, has an everlasting impact on the growth of our convention, which starts directly with you. We hear it every year. President Gentry says it. The presidents, they're the catalyst to the success of the convention, because we as presidents bring the people. And I can share this because I too am a president of a chapter, so I understand your woes, your sensitivities, your roadblocks, all of those things. I experienced them personally on a level within my own chapter, so I understand that. Next slide, please. Effective and efficient leaders. There are tools that foster a strong relationship within and without our leadership duties. Leaders that foster strong relationships are good listeners and understand and appreciate the value of others. They are not intimidated by the work of others. They're willing to acknowledge the contribution of others. I always say to my people, ministry work is a thankless environment. It is often, you often do more than what you are recognized for. And sometimes we have to just take a moment and recognize those individuals who behind the scenes do things that support our efforts 365 days a year. And my pastor used to say, don't wait to be recognized until you're hatched, matched, or dispatched. We don't want that kind of environment. We want an environment where people are celebrated for what they do, and they're recognized for what they do. It doesn't have to always be on a large platform. It could be a thank you card, a thank you note, or before your meetings, to celebrate the individuals that have done specific things that you know that you can't do by yourself, that you know you need their support. So the relationships within your chapter are strong, so that when people come in, they see the family-centered goals that you have. And let's face it, we all like an environment where we are received well, we're treated well, and we love one another. It is not a pleasant environment to be singing or in fellowship with a group of people, and it's a constant bickering going on. I have experienced that personally. I couldn't wait to go home, wait to leave rehearsal. Music sounded wonderful, and then as soon as you step off the platform, we are not with one accord. That is not who we are to be as leaders. We exemplify effective and efficiency in our presence. And it is important that we are sound in that. Next screen, please. What are you doing as a servant? What are you doing as a servant? Are you a leader that fosters relationships within your membership or outside of your circle? Are you willing to stand and reach your hand across the table and be willing to serve with others other than the people who you are commonly around, or your friends? Are you willing to talk to people and encourage them to come to your convention? One thing about our relationship, it has everything to do with our vertical relationship with God, which impacts our horizontal relationship with individuals. And it just amazes me, the expanse of God's connection with his people. He is with us consistently everywhere. And sometimes we will sit across the aisles from someone and won't even extend a hand or a hello or just a smile, which does not hurt. These are things that invite people into you so that you can have a stronger chapter or a stronger union. If you're in the ministry of music, you just about know the people who you interact with who can sing. Maybe they have not been invited. Take time to talk to them. What do you do in the month of August? What are you doing through the year that strengthens your ability to communicate the good news in song? What are you doing? And there are leaders that are sitting with you that have never had the opportunity to lead. And I'm reading a great book right now that says how to lead when you're not in charge. How to lead when you're not in charge. We all understand that leading has an impact whether you're at the front of the podium or sitting in the audience. And this is a wonderful book by Clay Scroggins. I'll share that with you in an email later. But it's important to understand that we impact one another regardless if we're at the front of the podium or we are in the audience. Remember that. Your membership impacts how people respond to your chapter and union. And as the leader, you set the tone for that. So as a servant leader, you step outside of the role of the receiving and you become the giving person. You extend your hand to the individual. You extend your opportunity to the individual, and you're willing to share the platform. Many people have a problem with this. They live in that me generation or I generation or I world. I'm here to tell you, you will get nowhere with that thought and deed, and we have all seen it. Next slide, please. The benefits of a solid leadership relationship opens the avenue of conversation. It fosters trust. And it sets the tone for other leaders to grow within your environment, within your chapter, within your unions. It communicates confidence. And windows of opportunity just spring open because of that leadership relationship. It strengthens unity within the various community of business. We're in business. You bank, you have to bank, you have to use different modes of promoting yourselves. And while we are in the ministry, we connect outside of that. And your responsibilities and your duties, you have businesses that you interact with, be it printing, be it whatever. But we have to understand that the communities that we work with rely on us to function. How we interact with them and how we develop relationships enhances your resource base among yourselves. So understand that it is not something that is withheld within yourself. It expands beyond you. Next slide, please. What does learning or leading mean to you? If you're walking down the right path, you're willing to keep walking, eventually you will make progress. So we understand that remaining stagnant, we don't grow. Remaining in the same spot, I was told if you keep doing the same thing over again and accept a different response, then you're not going to get a good response. You're going to get what you always put out. We have to expand our territory beyond our comfort zone. And we understand that people want to be a part of this convention. So we know that President Gentry has established a relationship action plan because she has extended herself beyond her daily responsibilities of communicating with us. We have had new faces, new connections coming to our convention because of her relationship action plan. And we have to develop that as well, a relationship action plan where we succinctly plan how we're going to engage others. Can we move to the next screen, please? Leading by example, admitting your mistakes, developing others to realize their potential, fostering and encouraging others, and giving others a new direction. And we can say that while we are a convention of music ministry, we are also growing in other avenues. And we have the opportunity to expand. We have significant people who write music that is received all over the world. We have people who are not unlike Brother Whitley, who has establish this mode of development and communication within our convention, so that not only will I be talking to you, but you will be hearing from other ministry, other auxiliary leaders within the convention. It is because we have to lead by example. And you'd be surprised, people are watching, especially young people. They watch what you do, how you handle yourselves. What are you open to? What new visions are you open to? And be encouraging to one another. So we understand that it is important what we represent, how we posture ourselves as chapter leaders, as union leaders, has a direct ramification on the growth of our chapters and our convention. Next slide, please. Pastoral care and leadership. One of the things that I found, that working with a lot of people want to feel as though you care about them. We can all sing. What happens after we stop singing? What happens? It is more than just the music. That is something that I heard many years ago from our co-chapter, Garden State. It is more than just the music. And people, especially in a time like this, there's such a troubling air in the land. And to be able to communicate with your membership, to have them have the ability to feel that you are reaching out to them more for just their gift of singing, adds a bonus to your chapter and union. It fosters healing, guidance, reconciliation, nurturing, and it sustains your chapter. While we are not pastors, we are responsible for the care and love and the spiritual care and love of our membership. Once we understand that, it takes a whole nother feel for how we interact with one another, how we relate to one another. If we can sing together, we can pray together. We have suffered losses together. We need to have an established form of communication for those times, so that people feel comfortable about coming back to you with their concerns. We have heard the term mental health and the concerns that are evolving around that. And it is rampant within people. It has nothing to do with your location. It is rampant within people. If we cannot seek that love and care within one another, where can we go? We have to have it so that when these things come, we don't feel that I'm only there just to sing. It takes more than that. It requires more than that. It requires an understanding, patient, caring leader within that chapter, within that union, that the membership feels comfortable about coming to you. And if you don't have the resources to support their needs, you're willing, because of your relationships that you have established, to provide them with the care and the support that they need for their times of trouble, their times of growth, their times of hurt. They need to feel the comfort and the warmth that is provided by you as a chapter president or a union president. Next slide, please. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And we understand that by Dr. Martin Luther King, and we understand that is very prevalent today. You're going to see more servant leadership coming out as a result of the tragedies that have happened within our world today. But one of the things that I'm reminded of is our founder, Dr. Dorsey. At one point, he understood that the relationships that he established with Willie Mae Ford Smith and Sally Martin emboldened his vision. It enabled him to develop and secure the National Convention of Gospel Choir and Choruses, but most meaningful, which changed the tide of his vision, was his relationship with Christ. When that took place, then the entire vision of his perspective took on a whole new meaning. It had a whole new ideals that today we are standing on. And I always say, whatever God ordains, he sustains. And we are able to be with one another today because of a young man's vision over 86 years ago is still living today, because it had the sustaining power of God and the understanding that people connected could keep this vision going. Next slide, please. So we don't want to forget and understand that it is required of us to be servant leaders and have a relationship outside of our comfort zones that also provides the care and love for individuals that serve with us. They are a part of our membership. They are a part of our growth. They are a part of our posterity, and they definitely bring meaning and wealth to the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses. Are there any questions? If you have a question, you can type it in the chat box. If you click on the word chat, that will open up your ability to write a comment or a question.
Tiffany Simpson has raised her hand. Tiffany, do you have a question? You can speak if you are able to.
Thank you, Tiffany. It's really important that we understand that we all started out as youth, and we did not start with all of the information. Our experiences have led us to become more valuable in our work. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so very much. Yes, we will make the PowerPoint available to you so that you will have it and be able to utilize it. I will also provide the names of the books. I'm reading a great book called Never Eat Alone, and it is great for developing secrets to success for relationships in any facet of business, ministry. It is awesome. It is by Keith Ferrazzi, so I will share all of that with you. I hope this time has been beneficial to you, and it is my prayer that you will grow and glow in your various responsibilities and chapter duties and union responsibilities. Plus, it will stimulate you to take a step even outside of that. And when an office becomes available, that you will be able to say, I'm willing to move into that. So please do not allow anyone to hold you back. You have the ability to see things, to do things, and to grow and glow and empower our convention. And we thank God for all of you. It is my prayer that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and that you will always be mindful that I am there for your support. If you need anything to support your various chapters or unions or your growth, do not hesitate to contact me. And I do want to again thank President Gentry and Chairman Morgan for allowing me this opportunity, as well as the folks who work behind the scenes with me, Sister Christine Wade, dear Eleanor Jones, Brother Marvin March, and Michael Pickett, and my producer for today who got me through this, none other than Brother Rodney Whitley. Thank you, Evelyn, for joining. Thank you, everyone.
And I wonder what I have done that makes this race so hard to run. say to myself, take courage, oh, the Lord will make a way somehow. Church, the Lord will make a way somehow. When beneath the cross I bow, now He will take away these sorrow. Just let Him have your burdens now. But roll that down so heavy, and that weight is rolled upon my brow. But there's a sweet relief in knowing, oh, the Lord will make a way somehow. You know I try to do my best in service, try to live the best I can. Now when I choose to do the right thing, evil's present on every hand. I said to my soul, let the tears come on my brow. But I say still to my soul, be patient. Oh, the Lord will make a way somehow. Often there's misunderstanding. Now, often there's misunderstanding. Now, out of all that good I do, then I go to friends for consolation, and I'll find them complaining too. Not so many nights I playing prayer, just wondering what this day is gonna bring. But I say to my soul, don't worry, oh, the Lord will make a way somehow. Did you know the Lord will make a way somehow? When beneath the cross you bow, He'll take away every sorrow. So let Him have your burdens now. When the load back down so heavy, the weight is shown upon my brow.